probably the Montessori as well, and the
With a
CIA.
private school as well.
Right, they
Yes.
probably also provide that service. Yeah, so how did you get interested in working with youngsters and being interested in early stimulation?
Well, I would say that's a vocation and a call that God has given me for years now, since I am in that field.
Okay, so you've always worked with children between the ages of 3 to 5, or have you worked with...
No, I was a kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
I taught kindergarten before. And after Mr. Brown has been relieved from the early stimulation, I had to take over the task of early supervising of the early stimulation.
So you were the coordinator?
Yes.
And before that, you were teaching just regular classes?
Teaching.
So you've not only taught youngsters between the age of 3 and 5, you've also taught older?
4 to 5. Mm-hmm. 4 to 5.
Is there anything else you could share with us concerning early stimulation, the importance of early stimulation?
It's very important for that early stimuli of those children. And parents also have to assist with early stimulation of the young ones, of their children, at home. And when they arrive at the school, we stimulate them in the different skills that has to be developed, the different concepts that they have to learn in the cognitive development, in their social development, the emotional development, and the physical development.
So tell me a little bit, how do you work on their cognitive development?
They learn through speaking, their stories listening, they communicate with those are the words that we use and the materials that we use also to develop their cognitive development, the thinking skills.
And then you talked about the emotional part. What about
yes,
that?
Yes, the emotional part. They are so emotionally, they are caring little ones. They show affection, they show love, they show sadness, and they show happiness.
And how do you stimulate that? For example, you have a child who, doesn't want to share. And, the other child that wants to have the toy starts to cry. And how does a teacher deal with a situation like that?
Well, at that age group, they do not really know about sharing. So you'll take a little time getting that instilled in them. But when they continue socializing with their peers, and you also get down to their level, and then you talk to them and you show them, well, Peter's supposed to have some of the toys, Johnny's supposed to have some of the blocks. In that way, gradually, as they move on, they will come across.
So it's quite normal for 3-year-olds?
At that age, yes.
4-year-olds as well, 5-year-olds? I mean,
at 4-year-olds, yes, it continues, yes.
It continues. So there's no cut-off year per se for them.
They move
on. Sharing?
They'll move on. But those, like the 3- and 4-year-old, you mostly find that happening with the sharing part.
I'm glad you're saying this because, it's quite educating for the parents watching, because sometimes they say, well, I don't know what's wrong with my child, he doesn't want to share. But what you're telling us is that it's quite normal
it's
for
normal.
that age.
It's expected at that age.
Okay, so we talked about cognitive, emotional. You also mentioned physical. How do you promote the physical aspect?
The physical aspect due to movement. You have the outdoor play equipment as well as the indoor equipment. And where they do music and dance movement, also that will deal with the physical development.
Okay, and there was one more. We dealt with emotional, we dealt with cognitive, and now physical.
This physically, we just spoke about that one there.
Yes. Oh, and then you said social.
Yes, the social part. Where they'll have also with the working with the groups, the peers, in the play groups, in the dramatic play, and outdoor play as well.
So basically, in the social aspect is learning how to play with
others. Yes. Get around with their peers.
And is it normal for children between the ages of 3 and 5 to not want to be friendly all the time? And when I say that is because, like you're saying, you're trying to teach them to be social, so learning to play with each other. But sometimes you notice that there are some children who don't want to play with others. They just want to play by themselves. Is that also a normal?
Yes, that's also a normal. You will have some children just will like to be in their own little corner, as you say. And that happened to us as adults as well.
Right. But how do you deal with it then? Because you're saying you're also teaching them how to be social.
Yes.
So how do you deal with a child that's withdrawn, basically?
You will, first, the teacher and the child will try to get socially bound. Then you'll put them in certain groups where more children are more outward socially than the others. And gradually you observe And if any cases that come around, you have to probably meet with the parents to find out why that child is really like an inward child or really what a child that wants to be by him or herself. And get the child involved with activities that he or she will show her social skills development.
And how do you know? Because you know, as parents, we often want to put our kids in the sports or the arts that we like. So most mothers tend to want to put their children in piano, mothers in ballet. Is it too early at the age of 3 to detect if your child, really is interested in piano or in soccer or any of those type of activities?
At that age, the children are beginning to experiment and explore. So you give them a little more time. But you see the child probably, as soon as music starts to play and dance, so you have to okay, that child is ready for dancing.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Kelly, we have to go to a break. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Man, I'm supposed to take my girl out to dinner this weekend. I'm so broke, man.
Man, I used to have those same problems, but since I got my whip company card, when I take my lady out, I even get something back,
Get something back. But you're a lucky fella.
I take your mind out the gutter, man. What I mean is, with whip company I get back 1% on every purchase I make. With this card, I can spend in guilders and use it throughout the Netherlands and TDs. Instead of paying 1% of the dollar credit card, man, I get 1% back on every purchase I make at the end of the year.
What? I gotta get myself a company on card.
Man, but let's go.
Let me go. Man, now my lady's birthday gonna be a real celebration.
At least now with Whip Compaleon, I know you're gonna get something back.
The Web Compaleon credit card with limits as low as 500 guilders. You don't have to walk with cash and it is accepted by practically all businesses. The Web Compaleon is the first guilder credit card that can be afforded by anyone.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Welcome back to A Better Place. Miss Kelly, we were just talking about the different skills that are expected for the youngsters to know in early stimulation. So you talked about, that you touch on the didactics, social, emotional, and physical. Now, when you talked about physical, you talked about also that these children learn through music. How important do you think music is in early stimulation or throughout education for children who are learning?
It's very important because children learn rhythm. They learn about the percussions. They learn about the notes as well. And they learn about the different words in the sounds of the music, if it's slow or fast. We integrate the concepts into maths and the different areas.
Okay. So how is it used in the early stimulation to stimulate them? You said earlier that they learn through songs, so they're given songs to sing.
Yes,
they also
the teachers
have
provide
instruments.
sounds, yes, percussion at the children's size because they're little soft little hands that you have to mold them. So there you have the use of those as well during the music time.
I think that's interesting because we know that music, everyone loves music.
Oh yes.
And it's so amazing when you see the little ones dancing to a song, and then you're like, oh, well, she's into dancing already.
So that's why you have to give that time to let them express themselves. So they really enjoy that music time.
And I know that because my nephew also attended the early stimulation at the MAC, and I know what we looked forward to was I think it's either the Christmas program or is it the end of the year program?
Both. We have the Christmas program as well as the end of the
And what does that
program.
entail again?
But the Christmas program, it deals with the season of Christ, the birth, And the end of the year program deals of all what the children have learned. They do it through nursery, they do it through, as a story, the role play, and the parents get a little time to hear and to see what the children have learned during the year. And that they're leaving with the school year at the end of the school year.
So in your end of the year program, you put everything
Yes.
in what they've basically done and learned
As well,
throughout
yes,
the year.
throughout the year.
Is there anything else you want to share about early stimulation that we haven't talked about?
But I must say, do stimulate. Let the child express themselves. If they don't have the room, parents don't have the room at home, take the child out where there's room, maybe in your park, the sport complex, or either on the boardwalk, which I have seen that some parents really do take the children out, able to ride their bikes, express themselves, to play, and let them be themselves.
What advice can you give to parents, and not only parents, people on the whole, when they are in the midst of 3-year-olds? Well, I could say actually up to what? What age would you say a child is still constantly busy? Like between 3 and, well, some might say 3
It
to
goes
18.
higher. It really goes higher because we have some very, very active ones at the moment.
So we can't put a cap on that.
No, we can't. No, we can't.
But then let me rephrase that question then. What age should we expect a child to be able to sit still for at least an hour or 2?
I can see probably at 8, 9 years.
8 or 9 years.
Yes.
Not even 7. Because
No,
that's
they're going to find a time they're going to say.
because that's the age I
want
had
to
in my
move.
mind.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
So 9, you would say.
8 to 9, I can
8
say.
to 9.
Yes.
I think that's great information that
You'll
you're
really
passing on,
find that,
because-
yes, that probably children that are inward, children that are very quiet, then you can consider that from those children at that age. Yes. Can take a full hour or 2 without being moved around, and so yes.
Because, it's interesting whenever you go to church and you see the children all busy, some parents getting agitated, and persons in the pews getting agitated.
But you still have to make them aware the place and time that they are. Yes, you can do that, but then you have to really prepare them gradually and see how the concentration spans increases
Right.
as well.
So you think that if a 3-year-old, 4, 5, 6-year-old is in church, for example, let me use church as an example, that they should be able to sit for how long?
But it all depends, as I just said, because sometimes at church, they have children at that age, and sometimes we say, don't hear them. But times when they do, you can feel that they either want to get outside, get some air, or maybe probably have something to drink or so.
And then we need to take that into
Yes, you have to take
consideration.
that into consideration. They are
Okay.
children.
Ms. Kelly, unfortunately, our time is up. I cannot believe that 30 minutes has gone by that fast. I want to thank you so much for having been a guest on A Better Place. You have brought us a wealth of information concerning early stimulation. I want to encourage you to continue doing the good work that you're doing at the MAC School. And nice having you, and maybe we'll have you back another time.
Thank you. Most welcome.
And to you, the viewing audience, I also want to thank you for having been a part of today's program concerning early stimulation. Stay tuned for our upcoming programs. I'm your host, Angelique Rumu.